Welcome again to something that is always highly questionable. What do you like on the show today, Bomani?
Rod and the Halloween shade.
I thought that was funny. Dale, papi.
After last night, are we sure that the Vikings are good?
We told you after they lost 21-10 against Philadelphia that that's how their season would look like it would end in the playoffs, the way that you saw last night. They're a good team with a great defense and a fatal flaw on offense. You can have a suspect quarterback with a great defense. You can have a bad offensive line. You cannot have both of those things or you're going to look like the Vikings looked last night.
But the thing about it is, I don't even think that you could put this on the quarterback. Perhaps the most shocking development of the Vikings season is that Sam Bradford is taking all these sacks the last 2 weeks and hasn't been crumpled up like a piece of tinfoil. They can't run the ball. They can't pass block. They can't run block. And none of that seems like it's going to change unless they further mortgage their future and trade a pick to try to get one of the tackles that's available before the trade deadline. I don't think that's going to happen. Good luck, guys.
I'll tell you something else, though, that happened last night. Somebody else is going to end up giving Jay Cutler a chance because you've got quarterback problems, and he looked last night like somebody that you might trust. He does that occasionally.
Hey, are you kidding me? Jay is back. He's back. Jay is back. He was on fire last night. You could see it in his eyes. He wanted to win that game. He was throwing here. He was throwing there. He was handing off the ball. He was reading the defense. He was the Jay I love. Go, Jay. Go, Jay. Go, Jay.
He's the only Jay Cutler fan that doesn't share his last name.
He gave a speech before the game to the team that got them fired up. That's the Jay I know.
NFL Films has got to have this for us, right? Because this is impossible for us to imagine unless it was, I normally don't care. Tonight, I really don't care. Play like you don't care.
Our Marcus Gilbert comments about Cam Newton's bad for the NFL players.
All right, Marcus Gilbert is an offensive lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He basically, in so many words, said that Cam Newton sounds like he's soft, that if he doesn't feel safe, then maybe he should go play some other game, and said that his quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, gets hit a lot too, but you don't hear Ben complain about it. Where I think Cam got himself in trouble was saying that he didn't feel safe, which sounds a lot like you're scared. Marcus Gilbert got on him about that. If you're scared, go do something else. But the dude does have a point. A player of his caliber is normally treated differently by the officials, and if you could just dive at the dude's knees, I'd be worried too.
Gilbert has a point, though, as well. I thought Cam's got one, but Gilbert's got one as well. And a lot of guys in this league are looking like at the quarterbacks and saying, really? You guys are going to complain about the violence and the safety in this league when all the rules are different for you? I do think he's instructed by who his quarterback is, though. He's as big as Cam Newton. He gets hit a lot like Cam Newton, and you never do hear Ben Roethlisberger complain about it.
He also gets hurt a lot, right? So maybe they should do something about it there too.
You know who doesn't complain about the violence in the game? Jay Cutler. He gets hit as bad as the other guy. He's right there in the trenches, fighting for his team. He never complains. Go, Jay. Go, Jay. Go, Jay. Go, Jay.
That sounds kind of like OJ.
If the Cubs win again tonight, will they be the favorites for Game 7 on the road?
What an absurd question. This is being asked here because we've got to preview the World Series and we don't know how to do it. Here's the situation that you find yourself in. If you can get past them in Game 6, you've got to get past Andrew Miller about 50 pitches, and then you'll have Chapman rested, so you'll be in a better condition in Game 7 because you probably won't get as much Miller, and you'll have Chapman rested, but you still got to go after Cleveland's best pitcher. And basically, the Cubs have been a disaster in this series against anybody not named Bauer.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's funny, though, is that if that Game 7 were in Chicago, the one that we're imagining, we'd be asking, would that crowd be so tense because it'd been so long since they won a World Series? The last time Cleveland won a World Series, Satchel Paige was on the team. What in the world would that environment be with these two cursed franchises? The whole Midwest would be all lemony. Like,
how about this? How about this? Because he talks about the lemon booty. You got in Cleveland better television ratings for this baseball series than you did for LeBron's basketball series against the Golden State Warriors. They really want that in Cleveland, too.
You know who's going to make the big difference for the Cubs?
Oh, no.
Kyle Schwarberger.
Oh, okay, there it is. I thought he was going to go with Jay Cutler. My bad. I thought he was going to make another Cutler joke.
It's a time for the Bucks to cut Roberto Aguayo.
I feel so bad for this dude, right? Like, kickers are notoriously soft in the headspace, right? It's a position sort of thing that they do. Aguayo was a second-round pick. People had all the questions about that. They were booing him in training camp, and now the regular season started. He's made 58% of his field goals. Every other kicker in the league has made 70%. The problem is you can't just set fire to a second-round pick, can you? Because they might have to.
He was the best college kicker I've ever seen. It didn't look ridiculous that he was wearing one of those mouthpieces with fangs when he was out there making all of his extra points in college. They nicknamed him Mr. Perfect. Now he's missed 7 kicks, more than anybody in the league, and it does feel like he's a little bit short-circuited on this front. But like Bomani said, you can't release him just yet. And I thought John Gruden said something interesting. At the beginning of his tenure in Oakland, he wanted to release Sebastian Janikowski because he missed some kicks early. I think you stay with him at least a little bit longer.
Can I give a little pep talk to Roberto?
Yes, of course.
Hey, Roberto, no te preocupes. Tú sigues jugando como tú has jugado. Nadie te va a quitar el trabajo tuyo. Tú eres uno de los mejores en la liga. Le ganaste un juego a Carolina, ¿ok? Con no tiempo en el reloj. Así que eres un león. Usted siga jugando como está jugando.
His Spanish isn't a lot better than his English. It's fairly amazing.
I was actually going to ask you, because you're always like, he's in his second language. I can't tell no more.
I can't believe how much he struggled with that.
You know, I'm not learning any English, and I'm forgetting my Spanish pretty much. Pretty soon I won't be able to speak at all.
And then the show will be over.
Were LeBron's Halloween decorations cool or lame?
This is funny. When you get to win, you get to write the history with sugary treats or however it is that you want to. Look at this here. Halloween party, he does this every year. That's scary. The Warriors, that'll scare him. That's going to haunt the Warriors for a long time. 3-1 lead. And then tombstones.
Wait a minute, are those like Drake owls that he's got there? Because this just got really lame now that I saw that.
Look at that, though. Tombstones. I thought that was funny all around, and he gets to win, and he gets to win forever.
Well, part of what's interesting about this is normally a guy in the position LeBron is in, we would think of him as being a bully of sorts for picking on people in this way. But the turn on the Warriors has transpired. Now this is just funny to everybody.
One of the most magical things in the career of LeBron James is somehow becoming lovable underdog guy at the end. That's kind of hard to fathom.
So what is the big deal? He showed a few things there. I didn't see any good candies. I didn't see any Baby Ruth, I didn't see any Snickers, Milky Ways, I mean, this is a guy that got millions and millions of dollars, and all he does is put a couple of things like that, I mean, he's a cheapskate, that's what he is.
Did he say Baby Ruth? Would you like to wash that down with an RC Cola?
Coming up next on my son Stevie's show, we talk to Ricky Jean-Francois.
I'm sorry, did you say you were 210 pounds and you were 10 years old?
A 10-year-old?
Yeah.
Like how tall?
I can't remember my height, but I just remember I was 210.
Joining us at the beat.
Let's talk to Ricky.
What do you point to in your younger years? Is there anything in your early years that you point to and say, that most shaped me, that most made me the adult I am today?
When I got to high school, at first I didn't play high school football until I got introduced to a head coach by the name of Walt Frazier. They call him the conductor. When I met him, it was like he was a father figure to all of us. And when I got a chance to be with him my 4 years, he molded me to be the player I am now.
And so you look back on what you arrived at him, at his doorstep. What were you like then?
A young kid, just trying to find his way, trying to play football. I was always playing street football. I was too big to play out the mints. I was trying to play for the 150s, but at the age of 10, I was 210 pounds. So I had to wait till I got to high school to play ball. And when I just got with him, he just set the line straight. You want to go to college? This is what you have to do. You got to make sure you get your books. You got to make sure you cross all your T's and dot your I's. You got to do everything that a high school athlete would do to get to a Division I college.
I'm sorry, did you say you were 210 pounds and you were 10 years old?
A 10-year-old?
Yeah.
Like how tall?
I can't remember my height, but I just remember I was 210.
And so how were you that large, and was there any sort of, were you considered normal? Nobody messing with you, or were you a little bit of an outsider because you were too big?
I was more outsider because I was too big. I used to play street football, I'd be 10 years old playing with guys that were 18, 21 years old, out back just playing ball. I didn't know you had to have a weight limit and stuff like that. So I stayed out of Optimus football. I did flag football. Then when I got to high school, that's when I started playing like real organized football.
So what would happen when you showed up to play flag football? Because I'm not sure I'm letting my kids play flag football with the 210-pound 10-year-old.
It sounds like you look like this. This guy right here is showing up to play.
But just showing up and doing that, I just wanted to lose weight as a kid. I shouldn't have had that type of mindset to lose weight, but I didn't want to be 210 pounds. I actually wanted to have that chance to go out there and play with the rest of the kids. Everybody in my neighborhood block played for an Optimus team. It might not have been the same, but it was the Optimus team they played for, and I actually had to just sit back and just wait, or either a street ball game came on or something like that. But I love playing flag football. It introduced me to what football was really about. I understand it didn't have the hitting and the equipment and all, but when it was time for me to take that next step, I was prepared and ready.
Did you set a record for sacks in a high school game? Were you someone who held the record for a while for sacks in a game?
I think I still hold the record. I haven't heard nobody broken. I think it was like 8 or 9 sacks in a game.
So what was that game like? Can you did you feel pity for the guy that you were going up against at any point?
At first I did. I don't know why. I should have did it like a Madden game. I should have just tried to set a record that was just ridiculous for anybody to reach. But I felt bad for the guy. We played against a American high school, a street school that was down the street from our high school, and it was just a rainy night. It was one game before the playoffs started. Coach kept me in, and 8, 9 sacks later, he said, just keep going. Just keep trying to get as many sacks as you can.
Give us a guy early in your career, because you were still a little raw, a guy that you went up against and you were like, man, I don't have much of a chance here. I'm not getting anything accomplished here.
When I was in high school, I went up against a guy named Ricky Jean-Francois. He used to play for the Philadelphia Eagles, if I'm not mistaken. Went up against him. I was a freshman, and I was a sophomore, and he was a senior. And it would just feel like I was just running into a brick wall that I just couldn't find the other side of.
Well, he was like a giant man when he was in high school, wasn't he? Like 340 pounds or something like that?
Yes, they called him Mad Max.
Did that ever happen to you in the pros? Early on in the pros, did you ever run into anybody where it was a similar feeling?
Third year in the league, San Francisco. I think we just brought in Leonard Davis, and he was like on the back end. He was still moving and stuff. And one day somebody said, hey, Rick, just line up against him and see how you'll do. I've never felt somebody just hands can grab me and stop full motion. After that day, I was like, I can never let this happen again. And don't get me wrong, he was one of the great linemen that played for Dallas when Dallas had that offensive line moving.
I go on and on, can't understand how I last so long. I must have superpowers, strapped 225,000 hours. Get it, calculate it, do the math. I made 1,000 songs that made you move your and for the last 300 months, I made 16 albums with me on the front and the bump. Bloody whistle! Bloody whistle! Bloody whistle! Well, this broadcast from the Clevelander Hotel on beautiful South Beach, Miami. Time to play the game that was quite the ladies' man back in the day. Do you question?
You give us topics and events. We question them.
Do you question if Paul Pierce has said this in the game?
All right, Paul Pierce missed the game. His ankle is sore, arthritis, rheumatism, something that befalls people of his age. What do we got here? It's before the game.
Rick James.
Oh, wow.
He's
Rick James.
You can't say the other word.
Halloween with Steve Ballmer.
Is that Paul Pierce? Paul Pierce.
Look at Bryce Johnson. He doesn't exactly know what to do because he's too young to say anything about it, but he finds it ridiculous. And now he doesn't want to sit next to Paul Pierce anymore. Or Paul Pierce wants him out of his close-up.
I have nothing for you on that. I think that was all just an elaborate ploy to show Paul Pierce in a Halloween costume.
I don't even think the ploy was that elaborate.
I have a video on how he hurt his ankle. You want to see it?
Let's see.
It's one of our favorites. Yes.
Messed up.
Here's Paul Pierce. I love this video so much. It's one of my favorites. Here he goes. This is how he hurt himself. Yes.
There we
go. Right there.
Tell you, when somebody tells Paul Pierce that this show exists, he's going to be mad.
Do you question what is in those bushes?
It's not a question I shouldn't really ask.
What a great question. What's in those bushes? Oh, no. What's going to come out? Oh, my God. What is this going to be?
Hey, there's a fence. Whoa!
Oh!
Did they run the bear off?
Oh! Dogs, get out of there! You guys are out of your weight class!
No, apparently not. They ran the bear off. Dogs are some gangsters.
What just happened there?
Hey, all respect to those dogs, because they had no chance in that fight, but they were dedicated to the cause. They ought to get medals of freedom, because it wouldn't have been me.
Okay, there needs to not be a rematch in this particular bout, because that's going to end up with some dog skeletons in your yard.
Well, then people skeletons also. By the way, can people do that? Like, will people barking work?
You know what bear wouldn't have been scared? Jay
Cutler.
Cutler. That's right. That's the tough bear. He would have to stay right there. Go Jay. Go
No,
Jay.
again with
Go
the-
Jay.
no.
Go Jay. Go Jay. Go Jay.
I will say a bear running away from pursuers is kind of a metaphor for Jay Cutler's time with the Bears.
Also, a Bears sitting on the fence with their quarterback situation for a decade.
Time to play the game that can go all day and all of the night. See or no?
Tell us what's to watch on television tonight. He will always say yes.
On NBA TV, Warriors and Blazers.
If you had to bet this game, you'd bet the Blazers here, wouldn't you, Bomani? Early in the season, I think I'd bet the Blazers here. Let's check in with Steph Curry last game against the Suns. He thought he got fouled on a three. Here's his reaction.
Steph Curry with a three. And then he shoved off by Brandon Knight.
Brandon Knight didn't really deserve that. What did
Steph
Brandon
didn't
Knight deserve
appreciate
that?
Brandon Knight.
Did he undercut him? Bomani, are you intrigued?
That was game 3. This is where they are after 3 games, man. Whoo, this is going to be fun to watch.
Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Listen, I mean, nobody's respecting Steph Curry. I'm telling you, he's going to show everybody that he's going to be very tough this year. You know, he's not going to get pushed around like that. He's sending a message. You know, you don't push me around like that. I don't care who you are. No.
On Nesson, Bruins and Panthers.
No, but let's check in with my father, one of my father's favorite Hispanic hockey players, Sedano Chara. I don't think that's how you pronounce his name. Let's see what happens with him.
Yeah, he's the frighteningly large man who.
Oh,
He ain't that
I
large.
don't care how large you are. Some of that in there. Yeah, you're going to bend over like that no matter how tall you are. Bomani, are you intrigued?
Hey, man, if I was that odd dude, I'd be really, really afraid because that's a really big dude who cannot let that slide.
Poppy, pick up the no card. One time, I dare you. Are you intrigued, Poppy?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. But listen, that was bad, but not as bad as this.
Damn it.
Oh, look at this. A montage.
Oh,
yes.
it's a hockey montage.
Yes. Oh, look, Bomani is delighted. Bomani
I'm
sounds
not
delighted.
delighted.
You sounded delighted,
No,
Bomani.
I just didn't know that there was a special one just for
Yes,
the hockey.
yes, a montage of wonder and
A
delight.
montage of shame.
Yes,
I'm
you
ashamed
you
of
are.
all
Look
of
at
you.
you. You're smiling though. If you're so
Because I
ashamed,
can't
Bomani,
believe that
yes,
you guys have
yes.
all these videos
Yes.
right on deck. That's like a horror movie.
And that's not all.
Oh, what? We got more?
That's right.
Yeah, a little bonus. Oh, look at what happened to Bomani. Look at what happened. Oh, that one's funny. That one's funny.
I don't know why that's funny. I mean, he's in a bubble coat, and the next thing you know, it's like he got shot.
Because secretly you find
The
all of
only
this funny.
other one that I actually find funny is the stretcher.
The umpire on the stretcher.
It's
Throw
the
that up
stretcher
there.
that's funny,
Yes.
not the actual
Throw
shot.
that up there too, please. Thank you.
On ESPN, 30 for 30, hit it hard.
Yeah, this should be titled Totally Reckless Debauchery, the story of John Daly. Let's see, what we got? Show us a clip.
If you were to give the average golfer one tip, what would you give him?
Just keep swinging. Swing as hard as you can. Grip it and rip it.
My life was the full go. Take the chances, be aggressive. I didn't know any better. That's the way I was raised. That's the way I was brought up. That's the way I live life.
Lives by it, grip it and rip it, and here he comes.
The swing of a young Jack Nicklaus, the swagger of a young Arnold Palmer.
You gotta love this. They let him out of the cage. He comes out to play from a few bananas.
I wasn't taught success. I wasn't taught how to be successful. Whoosh, all this money starts coming and all these hands are out. And back then I just said, screw this, I'm just gonna go to a bar and get absolutely drunk and I'll deal with it tomorrow.
Here's the first American player in 20 years you'd actually pay to see play golf. A big, strong kid who hits it further than Babe Ruth, and he's in the grip of demons.
You don't change your life because somebody tells you to change your life. Cheers. You have to do it on your own. And I'm a late bloomer. That's what I can say. Some people just never grow up, and I can say I'm probably one of them. But I'm young at heart, and I hit it hard.
So much to absorb there. I mean, Tony Kornheiser with hair. Did you see that? That jacket.
With what?
Yeah. Bomani, are you intrigued?
By the way, it wasn't that long ago that dude had 2 majors and Phil Mickelson had none, and they were kind of contemporaries.
That is exactly the jacket you thought he'd be wearing, right? Poppy, say no. I dare you. Are you intrigued, Poppy?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Wait a second. You got me there.
Okay, you see, just the idea of no throws him off. Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Listen, he said late bloomer. What is that supposed to mean, that he's a late bloomer?
That you have success late in life. You grow late in life.
Oh, it's just like me. You know, then we're in the same team. He's a late bloomer. I'm also a late bloomer.
Also, my father's addicted to all sorts of vices.
Yeah, something tells me they're not on the same team at all.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
Back tomorrow. Check out The Right Time, Bomani's ESPN radio show, 4 to 7 Eastern every day. Thanks for watching.
Gracias. See you mañana.
Well, looked like you ate a little bit of candy yesterday, huh? Yeah.
You really needed to look me up and down there, Poppy. It's in my hips.